I don't normally do videos such as this, but I felt like I had to add my 2 cents to it. This is the Gaming Harbinger, and I am Ryofu. So in today's video, I wanted to take a moment to talk about the controversial, but yet critically acclaimed Mixtape. So I'm going to get straight to the point of this video, no intro. So I want to break this video into 3 different sections. The first one's going to be a little ranty. I'm warning you in advance. Like I said, I don't typically do videos like this. But the first one, pretty much all this controversy revolving around this stupid game has made me realize, the things that I don't like about YouTube, the things I don't like, I guess you could say more specifically, the gaming side of YouTube. And I want to talk about that for a moment. And then the second section, we're going to talk about the review scores for Mixtape. And then finally, the third section, I want to take a moment to talk about who was this game made for. We see a lot of jokey jokes and stuff where it's like, who would play this? Who is this made for? It's not made for a gamer, so who is it made for? We're going to talk about that. So for this first section, I realized something with Mixtape. And in a lot of ways, I realized this is still happening. This is still going from years ago. But I'm tired of seeing these type of videos. I am tired of seeing coverage of a game done by someone that doesn't give a shit about it. Someone that has no interest in playing it. But then, in a sense, they're kind of rallying up the troops, getting people riled up, just kind of spreading the hate towards the game. And my main concern with that when you're doing that is, I don't care if you don't like, my favorite game or someone else's favorite game. You're allowed to share your opinion and all that. But my thing is, when it gets to a point where you're making like 6 or 7 videos on the same game that you'll never play, mind you, then it's getting to a point where, what is the end game? What is your point to all this? Is it to eradicate any game that you won't play? Is it to eradicate any game where, it isn't a hyper masculine, super violent game, or if it's not a game with fan service, which by the way, I'm saying this as someone, I like all those things. All those things can be fun. In fact, I think we're to a point now where we're so focused on all of our differences and what we consider to be a good game or what we consider to be a bad game. And this game is injecting its politics, and that game isn't doing this right, or that game doesn't have enough gameplay. Who cares? No one's making you buy it. No one's making you play it. How come we don't have the people that want more fan service in their games, or let's say they feel like they're getting a lack of fan service, so they want it to return? What if they're like, hey, I want more games like Stellar Blade, but guess what? I'm totally cool with you making, this artsy fartsy game. I'm totally cool with that. You can make games like this, but I also want to play games like Stellar Blade. Is that okay? Or how about the return of Senran Kagura? I want more of that. But how about you can still do your thing, and other people, we can do our thing. How about that? That's what I would do. Use it as some kind of bargaining chip. Why can't both things exist? I never understood this. At the end of the day, the numbers will speak for themselves. You won't have to do too much aside from supporting DLC or supporting sequels. So this next section is going to be short and sweet, but it is important to acknowledge because, there is something rather peculiar with all of these 10 out of 10s, all of these really high review scores. I totally understand that. I can see people having their concerns. There is a couple of things, though, I feel about that are Like, okay, so for the people that already they do not like this game, they're not interested in this game. I thought you guys don't like gaming journalists, so why do you care what they're reviewing games? Why do you care about their review scores? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, maybe this isn't the right time to say this, but I really never cared about review scores, but I've always cared about what the reviews actually say in them. So actually reading the body of work, that's what I cared about, because that gave me an understanding of if they really enjoyed the game, or what parts of it did they like and what parts of it did they dislike. If you're just overly concerned about this number, then I feel like you kind of miss the point. That's why I've never been about giving scores. But I digress. So most people do care about scores. So yeah, let's take a moment to talk about that. And I'm going to like post a picture where it shows all these places that gave 10 out of 10s or really high scores. And let's be honest for a second. This is what I mean by you shouldn't care about this. Have you heard of half of these places? All right. Have you heard of a third of these places? So like, you know, what is there to really get upset about? What is there to really care about? Like, most of these places I have never heard of. And this isn't to insult or mock or be condescending towards these outlets, but sometimes you just have to take a step back and just be like, okay, what does this even mean that all these places I never heard of gave really high scores? I don't know what that means. The reality is, what do you think? Like, and I don't mean like, what do you think conspiratorially? I'm talking about, what do you think of the game? You know whether this is a game you're about or not. I could tell you, like, the first time I saw it, I saw the art style. I'm out. It took 5 seconds for me. And I'm not saying this to diss even on Mixtape, because like I told you, I personally feel, let things exist. Come on, guys, really? But that's just to let you know, like, I'm not a Mixtape defender. We're going to put that out there now. And just like I said earlier, you know, I could play a game like this. I dabble every so often in visual novels. So I can play a game that's much slower or doesn't have much gameplay input. I can do that. But I could also play something like Stellar Blade. I could also play, you know, your hyper masculine third person over the shoulder Sony game. It sounds like I'm talking about myself, but what I'm trying to say is, I know a lot of us do. And we don't just sit and play one type of game. The mainstream or the casual gamer probably only buys a handful of games a generation. But if you're watching this video, more than likely you're the type that you buy multiple games and you play different type of games, not just the same type of game. So why do you have to be on one side or the other? It shouldn't be that way, because the reality is, like I said, I like a little bit of everything. So for this next section, I kind of have to give a shout out to Mr. RGT85. Yes, sir. I have to give him a shout out. Like, he's been on it lately. And, you know, I think sometimes the way his demeanor is, and, you know, he just is totally himself, right? But I think sometimes he leads on, like, how do I say this? I'm not even sure how to articulate this, but I think he's smarter than he leads on. And that's not an insult by any means. Actually, it's quite the opposite. It's actually a compliment, because, I'm going to be honest, I haven't watched a ton of videos on Mixtape. That kind of personally sounds a little torturous. For those of you that have done that, congratulations. But I feel like RGT touched on something. I don't want to say it was a profound statement he made, but there were layers to it. It was a very nuanced response. And I don't know if anyone else has said it, and honestly said it in a way where it's not meant to insult or mock the people that made Mixtape or the people that love Mixtape. So I'm totally paraphrasing this because I'm not looking at a script or anything, but pretty much he said something along the lines of, when you look at the type of game this is, you see the art style, the way it's written, and the scenarios the characters go through. And then you look at the type of people that have played it. And for example, we're talking about gaming journalists. He's like, it kind of makes sense why these people are reviewing it so high. So I want to be really transparent here. So I don't have any intention on playing this game. So I want that to be clear that I have not played the game. So what I'm about to say here could be off, and that's fine. Please let me know down in the comments and say, actually, you're wrong with this mischaracterization of the type of people that play it, as well as maybe the people that, you know, it's resonating with. RGT was trying really hard to be careful and say, hey, you know, I think the non-cool kids that maybe made good grades but were wallflowers in school, they play this game and it deeply resonates with them. That's I think that about summarizes it. He also made a really nuanced comment regarding the music, which I also found very entertaining and somewhat fascinating. He said, when I was going to parties, they weren't playing Smashing Pumpkins. They were playing 3 6 Mafia. Now, I know some people could be like, but Ryofu, it depends on what kind of party you go to. But what about this? Or what about that? Or what about this? What if they're playing this genre of music or that genre of music? And considering that I'm assuming you see me in the video right now, you can tell that I am someone that has a little bit of an alternative aesthetic. And here's the thing. I think there's nothing wrong with saying and acknowledging that, yeah, if you were to go to your average typical party, they probably wouldn't be playing Smashing Pumpkins. They probably wouldn't be playing Lush. They probably wouldn't be playing Portishead. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's quite obvious that Smashing Pumpkins was massively successful during this time period. And I like me some Portishead. Portishead's pretty cool. But I've never been in a situation where I went into a party and 25 plus people were listening to Portishead. I've never been in that experience. I guess you would experience it if you went to one of their shows, but you get what I'm saying. I get what he's implying here. He's implying that the type of people that would be having a house party, and then other people are invited, and then everybody shows up, and there's alcohol, there's people hanging out, chilling, whatever. They're not going to be playing Portishead. They're not going to be playing Smashing Pumpkins. This game, is designed, created with love, I might add, for people that were more on the alternative side. The alternative side for, I guess you could say, the 90s. Now, I know there's been criticism on, does it do it correctly or accurately? You guys are going to know that more than me. I don't know, because I haven't played the game. But I do believe it's very possible to design a game in a way where it tugs at the heartstrings of people that longed for an experience, longed for a certain high school experience, longed to have, certain type of friendships or relationships or whatever it is. They envisioned their first kiss happening a certain way or whatever. I think, those people that maybe they felt like they missed out a little bit, or maybe we can go a step further and say maybe they did have a couple experiences, but they were bad. And then they're thinking, well, what if it was quirky Chungus alternative kid me, but it was good. This is what it would be. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe, you know what I mean? It makes sense. It does make sense. I'm following it. And I think that's what he was trying to imply here. So one thing I heard that was a little strange was that I heard that there's no hip hop or grunge, for this game, which is very peculiar because you really are cultivating and creating something and just completely like chopping off a good chunk, of that time period and pretending like it doesn't exist. Now, I get it. It's this person's game. It's the story they want to tell, and this is how they want to tell it. So I get it. Your perception is your reality. And your reality is hip hop doesn't exist. Grunge doesn't exist. Got it. I don't really even feel like this game is for me, but you know what? It's okay. It's going to be all right. It doesn't have to be for me. It should be allowed to exist. It really should be allowed to exist. It's going to be okay. But you know what I'm excited for? Another Fatal Frame game. You know what game I've played recently that I'm going to make a video on very, very shortly? Wolong Fallen Dynasty. I never played this. And this game is just so badass. It is so badass. It is so damn good. Like, once I do a counter, I almost like jump out of my chair. Like, that's how hyped I get when I play Wolong Fallen Dynasty. I start losing my damn mind. Damn, that game is good. But that's the thing, though. That's the thing, right? Like, that's not the only type of games I play. But I do like having those every now and then because you get extra hype, right? Whether I'm playing a visual novel or whatever, or I don't want to say a game like Mixtape, but, we'll say, yeah, I play some visual novels. So we'll say I've played something kind of close to that. But my point, though, is that it's allowed to exist, guys. It's resonating with some people. And I don't care if it's just the gaming journalists. I don't care if it's just 500 concurrent players on Steam, because people like to use that shit all the time. And it's super goofy. It's so stupid. But anyways, I don't care if it's only 500 concurrent players on Steam. It's resonating with people. They like it. Let people like things. Let people enjoy things. And you go back to enjoying the stuff that you love and talking about that. And here is one last thing to think about. Do you guys know I would have never heard of this game? I would have never known about this game if people hadn't complained about it. Anyways, guys, go play something fun, all right?